out of prison. Every time you got
Constantly.
out, you got in trouble,
Yeah.
shooting dope when you walked out.
Right.
What changed, Phil? How did that happen?
You know, Bill, it just was like a revolving door. I was constantly in and out, and my life. I was getting older. My body was getting tore up. I was always. I'd lift weights when I got into prison. That was my thing.
I've
Is
seen
getting
pictures
buff.
of you when you were big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not big now.
Right.
When you stop lifting weights, it goes away.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I cared about: lifting weights and doing as least work as possible.
Right.
And so, going in and out of prison, I'm all sucked up from being out in the streets, which, I'm all skinny and strung out. I'm in the reception center in the prison, and you're 23 hours a day locked down in a reception center. It's like Fulton in here in this state.
Yeah.
And so when you first go to prison, you go to the reception center, and then they send you to where you're going. They diagnose you and figure out which prison they're going to send you to and what level. And I'm in that reception center, and I remember sitting there, and I had ulcers, bleeding ulcers, from the dope and stuff like that, just throwing up. Every time I go to chow hall, I'd come back, just throw up blood,
Yeah.
And I was sitting there thinking, man, and I was looking over at my cellie, and he was older than me, and I thought, man, there I am. I'm going to be an old man in prison if something don't change. And I didn't know how to change.
Right.
But there was a little Bible sitting on a shelf in that prison. And 23 hours a day, Bill, I read in prison. I don't read anymore much. I read the Bible.
Yeah.
But in prison, I read all the time
Yeah.
because you just be sitting there,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I got that little Bible, and usually they don't make no sense to me, but the Bible says that God will draw you by His Spirit. And so that I really truly believe, Bill, that my life was getting ready to end.
Yeah.
It was getting worse and worse.
Right.
The things I was getting into on the streets were getting worse and worse. I was around people that were there's stuff that I can't even say.
Right.
I was just getting worse and worse, where eventually my number was up.
Yeah.
And so I think God was giving me one more chance to do something, even though I had praying parents.
Wow.
I believe that God was giving me a chance. And